What's going on, traders? Here we go again. Another day, another $1,000 for me. I come to the market, I take my $1,000, and I walk away. Today's trading session, I was done trading in about an hour and a half, and that's it. I walked away. Anyway, guys, really appreciate you watching the videos. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, consider subscribing. Make sure you like this video, leave a comment down below, and now let's just get right into the stocks that I traded, how I traded them, and my thoughts on them, and also the actual live footage. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. What's going on, traders? Let's just get right into some of the stocks that I traded in today's trading session. As you guys can see, I'm back at it again with $1,000. The consistency is there. I'm coming to the market every day. I'm taking my $1,000 and I'm walking away. Today, I traded terrible. I traded the worst I've ever traded. I made mistakes that were so new trader, novice trader mistakes. And that mistake you guys will be able to see in the actual live trading footage. I mean, I'm looking at it and it's entertaining and mind blowing. For me at a position at this point to kind of make this kind of mistakes. So, but it is what it is. I'm still up. Now, AYRO, what happened? AYRO, as you guys know, this being a runner, for a couple of days. So I shorted here pre-market. I had 100 shares added. And then I covered it right there. Pre-market, I think I made about like $95. And so what happened was, if you guys see right here, just before the market opened, I shorted 500 shares just right there a minute before market open. Now, how is that a terrible mistake? How is that a novice trader mistake? Because we know market open brings in a floodgate of volume. And most often than not, they tend to push higher. Out of the gate, they push. I shorted 500 shares to get squeezed on that 500 shares and be emotional about it, right? That's a gamble. You don't know if it's going to go higher, it's going to go lower. What you should have done is wait for it to happen and then short. So I pushed anyway. I didn't panic. I added right on top right there. And I had to take profit here, though, because now I'm compromised because of that. But had I shorted here, if I didn't have a short position there, had I just shorted the top, and that was a top tick perfect short, right? Had I just shorted that, I wouldn't have taken profit there. I would have held for this to go all the way to, I would have held all the way to here. 850 area, I would have held all the way there. But I covered at what, 960 I covered. So I left $1 per share profit on the table because my entry was terrible. Basically, my average was compromised. So I had to lock in the profit when it gave me. So right there, that was that. If I didn't have this short, I would have hammered that with 1,000 shares, and it would have been a nice profit all the way here up to $2,000, $3,000 profit just in one trade. That was what, 1030, right? Top tick 1030. Here at 870, 860 area would have been a nice profit. But because I already compromised my average by getting into that, I kind of had to lock in because I couldn't. Now I'm sized in, and if this thing bounces, I'll be in trouble. So for those reasons, I had to cover and I missed. So that's a very new trader mistakes where you screw it up your entry, especially just before market open. You shouldn't have a short entry because you don't know which way this is gonna go. Let's talk about DPW. Now, you would think I only did it on AYRO. No, you're wrong. I also did it here at DPW. I shorted right there. I added right there. And guess what? Right, short. And I shorted here again a minute before market open. And I got squeezed on this as well. From what? I was in at 9. And my average is probably like a $9, $9.10. And I got squeezed all the way to what, almost $11. But it was small share size. It was well within my risk management. I had to cut and recycle and stuff like that on other trades. I got squeezed. I didn't panic though. I don't panic in this kind of situation. You lose a lot of money when you start panicking. For me, I had already set my max loss and my profit target. So as long as everything is within that, I'm not panicking. If it gets to my stop loss, I'll for sure stop out, and that'll be the end of it. No need to panic and exit or anything like that. No need to have that kind of reaction. Knowing, deciding how you're gonna trade it, how it's gonna be played is very important. It prevents you from panicking and get emotional. Anyway, it went up. I didn't panic. I added right there, right? Again, if I didn't have this short, right, I would have hammered this right here with 1,000 shares, and that would have been great. But no, now my average is compromised. when it gave me the fade, which is exactly what I was expecting, what I was looking for, I had to exit right here. I got out right there. I mean, I made about 600 bucks out of that, but I had to get out right there. And this thing went, I mean, this short, almost a top tick, was at 1050, right? This thing went all the way to 750. So it gave me almost $3 per share profit and had about 1,000 shares. But I had to cut it right here at what? 880? 880. I had to cut it within that because now my average is compromised and I'm taking profit that's on the table, right? But if I didn't have this pre-market just before market open started short, my average would have been up here. You know, I wouldn't have been afraid this was gonna come up, and if it does come up, I would have cut it with break even. So I would have been able to be like, okay, I have a golden average. I would sit down and let this thing work for me. And guess what? It went all the way to $5. And if I had, and I was in 1,000 shares, I think. So if I had a starter there, I would have, I would have shorted there, and I would have just held. DPW, I only lost once on it, which is like 28 bucks, but the rest I made, 500, 600 bucks on it, 600 and something. Now we've seen what I did, the mistake that I made on DPW, and the mistake that I made on AYRO, right? Now brace for this, FTEK. Just before market open, so I was shorting into that as well, made a little bit of money on it. But just before market open, right here, just below VWAP, guess how many shares? The average right here is at 550. I went in 500 shares, right? This is 2 minutes before market open. And this thing went all the way to $7. I got squeezed almost $2 per share. It's crazy. I mean, I had to eat up some of the losses into this, and I had to eat up some of the losses into that. So on this particular trade, as you guys can see, I only lost 600 bucks. Even though I was short, you guys would be able to see this in the actual live footage. I was short 500 shares, and this thing squeezed on me $2 per share. I should have been down, I should have been down 1,000 bucks on it now. But what I did was, as you guys can see, shorted there, covered into that, covered into this. Now, here's the really terrible part about this is my data suggests that stocks like this, they go break pre-market high. They break pre-market high, and they go up to 20% before they wash out. Majority of them, they wash out after 20% within that range. The reason why they break the pre-market high usually is because a lot of traders that are short into this area would have a stop at pre-market high. So if you're a manipulator, if you're a market maker, you want to push it over pre-market high because you want to take their money. And when they cut it for a loss, that money's coming to you, right? Once they're out, this is called a stop loss hunt, right? So the market makers know that a lot of people would have stop loss right there, which I did as well. I was one of them, and they would break it higher, take every short as a loser, and then they drop it, and then they're done with it. Once they take the shorts money, they're done with it. They drop it, right? So if I stayed patient and didn't have this entry point, this pre-market breakout, I would have been shorting using 20% above here, above the pre-market as a risk level. Right? Now, if it goes and breaks above that 20%, that's when you cut your losses as a short and flip into long, because this is going to be an epic long. But because, even though that was my rule, because I was getting squeezed, I couldn't really risk this going 20% plus. So I had to cut it for pre-market high, which is exactly what the market makers wanted me to do. I did exactly that, and I lost money on it. But the proper trade on this one would have been let it break, short into that using 20% risk, 20% higher risk, and then let it wash, because majority of them, that's exactly what my data said. And there's a solid reason for that, right? As I said, the market makers look for stop losses, shorts. Everybody who's short into this would be exiting into that, and when they're exiting, so let's say the market makers are buying, millions of shares trying to wrap this up, you would have shorts who has already shorted millions of shares trying to exit, so they turn into a buyer. So when shorts turn into a buyer above pre-market high, the market makers who's been buying this thing would turn into sellers, and they sell into the shorts who are buying. And once they're done with it, as you can continue to drop. When I saw that rejection, though I ate the loss, when I saw that rejection, I didn't hesitate, right? I jumped back in, and then I made profit. So I jumped back in with 500 shares. I took some profit. I shorted there again, and then I took some profit. So all in all, it was an okay trade. Maybe I lost 200 bucks on it or something like that on this particular trade out of the 700s. But that was it. Let's talk about VMAR. Now with this thing, same thing here.
It went crazy. I mean, it was at $10 and it got into an upside hold, as you guys can see right here, upside hold, and then opened right here at $14-15 area. Shorted, made a quick buck on it. Made about $100 on that. Let's talk about YJ. YJ, this one was still going pre-market high. As you guys can see, after market it went to, right now it's at $6. It went all the way to $7. But how I traded it here was I shorted this parabolic move. I shorted that, covered a little bit, shorted, and covered. Now, why did I bottom tick cover right here? The reason why I bottom tick cover right here is because, so yesterday I traded CIIC, and it did exactly the same thing where they pushed it, they pull it back down, below VWAP, there was a lot of bids supporting it. They wouldn't let it drop, they were buying this thing out. So I got out right there. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, they're gonna push this thing higher, because that's exactly what they did yesterday. The algos, that's exactly what they did, preventing it from falling. Usually when they're below VWAP, they tend to wash out, but they held this thing. These were all the trades that I took. I hit my daily goal. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet and would like to see more contents like this, my thoughts on them, and actual live trading footage, consider subscribing to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Now, enjoy the actual live trading footage. Thanks, guys. Alright guys, welcome to the live trading part of my videos. As you guys can see, I am in 3 positions. DPW, I'm short 500 shares from 917 area. FTEK, I'm short 300 shares with an average of 566. And AYRO, I'm short 400 shares with an average of 940. So this is just before market open, which is a very novice mistake right here, because I shouldn't be shorting. This is a gamble. I don't know if this is going to drop. I mean, I expected it to drop, but I don't know if it's going to drop out of the gate. In fact, out of the gate, this thing should push, because that's when we have majority of the volume coming through, right? And you also have order imbalance out of the gate. It's almost like a gamble. So I added here on FTEK. Now I'm holding 600 shares of FTEK with an average of 590. So, and it's really squeezing on me right now. It's at you guys have seen the chart and the explanation. Right now it's actually at 640 area. This thing went well over $7. So I'm getting squeezed on it. As you guys can see, it says I'm down almost $400 on my positions. But it get worse because right now AYRO hasn't squeezed yet, and DPW has not squeezed yet as well. DPW right now is at 970. That one is squeezing as well. But right now I am only down $400. FTEK, it gave me a little dip, but I didn't take it. It came actually to the $6 area. So right now I'm down. FTEK going higher as well. I'm down $700. So $800, but I'm not panicking. I'm holding. In fact, some of them I actually want to add. AYRO I want to add. DPW I want to add, because how they've been traded for the last couple of days. And I was expecting a short. The only mistake that I made was I should have shorted into this parabolic market open rather than now this is DPW. As you guys can see, I shorted pre-market, and now it's really squeezing on me. I'm down about $1,100 right here, $1,200, and they are pushing. Chat rooms are pushing in. I mean, DPW right here would have been a perfect short right there when it's hesitating like that. Right here when it's struggling to go, boom, that would have been a nice short, almost halted, but it's rejecting that halt. Right, there's not enough buyers to push it right into a halt. So, man, I would have hit that with 1,000 shares and just, hold. But, I had to eat up. No, I took half loss. I took FTEK for $644 loss. So now, right now, as you guys can see, I'm down $1,700 on a day. Remember, I only got 300 more to go, because my stop is at 2,000. If I hit 2,000, I'll close everything and walk out of the trading room. So now I'm holding those two. I'm comfortable with my size. I'm comfortable with the position. Is it an ideal trade? No, it's not, because I shouldn't have had a starter pre-market. just before, especially just before market open. That's just a terrible, terrible way to have a starter. So I'm seeing this DPW rejection here. So I added, now DPW, I'm holding 800 shares. Full size, I located 800 shares short. I'm short 800 shares. I'm not panicking. I'm not reacting. AYRO, I'm also watching. That thing is at $9 right now. That thing is at $10, $20 right now, and my average was $9. So I added AYRO as well. Right now, I'm holding 700 shares of AYRO. So I'm letting these things work. I'm also keeping an eye on FTK if it rejects, so I can go back in again. So right now I'm just sitting back here and I'm letting everything work. DPW, I'm letting it work. I'm not reacting unless it comes over 11, right? If here DPW comes up above 11, then I would have to cut it. Right now I'm down only about $1,000. So let's see how it goes. And as you guys can see, you know, I got back in again at FTK because rejected. I shorted that 615 area. Now this is dropping really nice. I want this thing to go into a downside hold. FTK dropping as well. I shorted the 650, 500 shares. I didn't go big. Should have gone 1,000 shares, but I only went in 500 shares because I'm thinking if it pops, I can re-add to that 7 area because, you know, originally pushed to that 7 area. Now this is really dropping. I'm down about only $700 on a day now from, you know, when I was down 1,700. So I mean, and I ate the $600 loss. So I'm holding. I'm only down $400 on a day. Now, mind you, if I did not eat, you know, if I did not eat the $600 loss, and if I wasn't down that, no, it went into a downside hold. It opened. I am up $300 on a day. I'm taking everything off. I took everything off, and that was it. Now I'm, you know, up 300 on a day. But remember, I was down 1,007, right? That 1,007, I should have been up $2,000 right now. So I shorted here another trade PIH. I should have been, because those areas where it was at the highest, that should have been where I should have my entry points. And that negative 1,700 should have been positive 1,700, right? As you guys can see, I'm up $600. Now I'm back into myself. I got out of those position alive. I only made what, $200 out of those 2 trades. So I'm done with them, kind of. PHI, as you guys can see, I shorted that top tick, that you know, 460 area, and I'm covering into the 370 area. So PHI short 453. Now I'm covering this 370 area, and I'm up $600 on a day. I'm only holding 150 shares. Anyway, guys, I will make sure I'll put a link down below for a free chat that I have on Discord. If you guys want to pop in, say hello, talk about, you know, trading ideas and trader mentality, that'll be pretty good. I closed this position right now. I'm up $600. Now I'm just waiting for the next trade to come in. The next trade was YJ, as you guys can see, shorted at 4, and I'm covering this 650 area, and I'm up $700. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching my videos. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Thank you.